Hello everybody, how you doing? This is Alex with the Linux Tube. I'm coming at you guys today and we're going to talk about something that is found in every distribution, sometimes multiple different types of them. And it's something that any power user definitely uses, but every new to Linux user is pretty much so hesitant or flat out afraid to use, and that is the Linux terminal. Now, the Linux terminal, to understand what it is a tool. And it is a tool that is meant to be used for you to interact directly with your bash shell. And that, or ZS shell or fish shell, whichever your shell environment is that you're using. So that way you can give it commands to execute and do. Now, the irony of it is that it's kind of a graphical user application that's built into the distro to interact with it. Like if you hit your Alt F4 key, Alt F1 key, it'll send you to your TTY, which is basically a terminal in the bash itself. And then you would type start X and it'll start your X server, which starts your desktop environment. So you get all your graphical GUIs and stuff. Now that being said, in the terminal use, a lot of the new users aren't sure what commands to use. And that's understandable because I don't think anybody's born with the knowledge of these commands. And there are a lot of different commands. You could use terminal to set wallpaper. You could use terminal to set color schemes. You could use terminal to set and open programs and to set them to auto start. You can set your resolution through it by using your xrandr commands. There is so many things that you could do with terminal. Now, back in the day when I started with Linux, I'd say 90% of the time I spent my time in terminal, either launching or editing apps, creating start launchers, whatever, in terminal, because there were not a lot of graphical user environments already created for your distributions like they are today. Pretty much so in today's environment of a Linux distribution, terminals have gotten to be semi-optional because there's so many different GUIs for so many different things that most people can avoid the terminal readily and easily. And so most people tend to do that, and therein lies the hesitation to want to use terminal. Now, terminal, if you're new to Linux and you want to find how to use your terminal, there's no end in the plethora of documentation online that you can find. Some of it makes sense, some of it is kind of daunting because it tends to be a little bit above the entry-level knowledge of some people, but as you're reading, you'll learn. My suggestion is basic Linux commands for Linux terminal, and you'll get pages kind of like the one I'm about to show you. And so let's go ahead and take a look at one that I found. It's from How to Geek. Here it is. So it's Beginner Geek, how to start using the Linux terminal. I like this one because it's simple. It's not overloaded with a lot of information. And as we scroll down, you'll see it kind of gives you a little brief synopsis of, you shouldn't be afraid of terminal, right? Then it moves right down into the basic terminal usage, right? Like launching applications, installing software, and so forth and so on. Working directories and files, because yes, you can navigate into directories. It's like a file manager as well. Like I told you, you can do any and everything that you do on your distro actually is a command line code that is executed by a graphical user environment. So you're working with terminal, just you're using it a point and click version because there's a little program in front of you that a script that has created a graphical user environment that tells you to point and click here and this is what it does. But this is basically what you're doing, like changing in your file manager. When you go to click that little arrow button to go back a directory or to go into a directory, it's executing the CD command in terminal. LS, when you click on it to open it up, that folder and see what's inside, it executes the ls, the list command. And when you right click on it and say make a folder, create a new folder, that's what it does. It executes the mkdir command, which is make a directory. Remove, when you delete, click on a delete function, it executes the remove function. the command. Copy, well, that's the CP function, and the M is the move. So this page kind of basically goes over what those do, and basically you can further on in further reading on what you would exactly type to do those things. So that being said, now let's take a look at a few options of terminals that are out there. And here, as you can see, I have 4 terminals. They're all different named terminals, but 3 of them are pretty much so the same. One of them is different in the fact of, and that would be the Alacrity terminal, that it's a GPU-based terminal. In other words, it doesn't use your CPU, it uses your GPU. So it's a little bit snappier and faster. As you can see, I launched Firefox by clicking in it, and it opened up Firefox. Now, say you're new to Linux and you want to install a package, and we're going to do this because most of you guys, now this is an Arch based distribution, so it's different in Arch. You type like Pacman and then dash capital S Y and then the name of the package. If you want to remove the package, you type Pacman dash capital R and then the name of the package. Like this way. I'll show you exactly. Oh, you got to type sudo. Always give sudo because you're doing things at a root level when you're doing this. And then let's say OBS. And that's how you would install OBS. Now, say you want to remove OBS. This is for Arch base, by the way. Say you want to remove, then you would simply type R. And then the name of the package, OBS, and it'll remove it. Now, say you're searching for OBS, but it doesn't come up because maybe you typed in the name wrong or whatever. So you would type capital S, little s, and then the name of your package. Now, anything that has that in it, OBS, it's going to pull up. And you're going to list through a whole plethora of things. And then you'll find, oh, it's OBS-Studio. And it'll install it. Okay? All right. So that's how you can use that. Now, in your Debian-based package repositories, you want to type apt, oh, not sapt, it's apt, A-P-T, right? So sometimes you could type git, but you don't have to. Install, and then OBS. Dang it, I can't type today. OBS-Studio. And then you hit enter, and you'll be prompted for anything that you need to in order to install OBS Studio. Okay, say you want to remove it. Your apt-get remove OBS Studio. Enter, and it removes it. Now, let me go pause for a sec. Now, say you don't remember whether you installed a package for whatever reason. It's very easy to do. You would type sudo apt space list -- installed. And this command right here will give you all of the applications that are installed on your operating system at that very moment. That's a very handy one to use because that one there, like I said, will tell you what you have installed. And it'll actually tell you the derivative and the version of it that you have as well. So say you're having an issue with an application that you use daily and all of a sudden it starts getting buggy. Could be because there was one that was updated, or your operating the distro was updated, and that needs to be updated. So you can type this, and you can see exactly what version you are. Or say you're installing, you type the SS command, the capital S small s command, and you're trying to figure out what the heck is the one that I need, or the most current one, and so you could look up yours, what's installed, and then you could do the SS command and see, oh, this is what I have, this is the newer one, this is what I want to install. So that being said, that's exactly how you can do that in your distribution that you have for Debian. This works for Debian. The SS command, of course, that's the one in Arch Linux. Now, so that is basically your terminal. Now, say you've already installed a lot of stuff. You're done doing what you needed to do, and now you're needing to clear your terminal because, wow, it's just gummy as heck, and you're not closing it. You're just going to leave it open for whatever reason. You can achieve that by having it look like a fresh new terminal by typing the word clear in it. Oh, try spelling clear correctly. Oh, this is a perfect example. It'll give me a couple more lines to clear. Type in clear, bam, there you go. You now have a perfectly clear, clean, and fresh new terminal. From terminal, you can also give it commands such as reboot to reboot your system. So you say you're in a GUI that's full screen for whatever reason, and it gets stuck for whatever reason, but you can switch desktop. And so you go to another desktop and launch your terminal there, and you simply just type in reboot, and it'll reboot your system. So that in and of itself is, why terminal is important, because it is a direct interaction with your bash shell, and it gives you the flexibility and the strength to compute and do whatever it is that you need to do without a graphical user interface. And if your graphical user interface becomes borked for whatever reason, it certainly gives you another avenue for killing it, because you can also do a kill command, and these all commands you can find online readily on how to use them and the exact commands you need to type in to commit them in your distribution of Linux that you're using. So terminal is definitely something that you do not need to be afraid of. It is definitely something that you become more friendly with the more you use it, and is very, 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 very powerful because it cuts out all the middle stuff. One of the things I will tell you is if you're executing a command and it requires you to give it your root password, like your installing of packages, you're gonna hit the sudo apt-get install and the name of the package, hit enter, and it's going to ask you and prompt you for your password. Anyone that you do that with, any command that you do that requires that, know that you are operating your command at a root level, and that level is where a lot of things tend to get broke if you type something in wrong. Now, does that mean you need to be scared of it? No, but just know that, and make sure that before you execute that command that you've read and understood what it is that you're typing if you're learning on how to do it for the first time. From the web page or a book or whatever it is that you found your documentation on, that is in fact the way it's supposed to be typed, in the flags that it's supposed to have and what it's supposed to do. Because if you do that, then there's no going back to fix whatever it is that you did. Because once you commit something at a root level, it's done. Now, anytime you open root, it's never a terminal. It's never open in a root level. That's why it looks the way it does. It's got your user with your host name on it, right? And that little tilde right here, this little tilde right here lets you know that you are in your home directory. So if you type in ls, it's going to list, because this is vanilla Arch that I installed, I only have a desktop folder in there, and that's why it's blue. That's a folder. If it was a text document, it would be white, just like the text in the terminal, in like the host name and my username. So if I want to cd into desktop, I would type cd desktop, and now I'm in my desktop. You see where my prompt right here that says Alex at Alex Vanilla Arch desktop, that shows you where you're at in that desktop. Okay, now if I type ls, it's going to probably show me the three icons that are on my desktop, which is the trash, file system, and the home folder. Nope, there's nothing in there. So there you go. It's not showing those at all. So either way, there is that. Now, say I want to go up a directory, I can type cd space dot, and it takes me back to my home directory. Or I could have just typed in the tilde and it takes me to its own directory in bash. So either way, can't type today. So anyhow, those are simple commands that you can do in your terminal that is not anything that you should be afraid of. It should be something you become more and more comfortable with. And eventually, as you use your desktop more and more, you'll wind up delving into terminal for fixes. Just do not be afraid. Make sure that you do your research well. If you have any comments, please comment below. Please like and subscribe this channel. We're just starting it out. We're trying to build up our fan base. Also, we're on Patreon. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, at the Linux Tube, on all those guys. Patreon.com, _Linux_tube. If you could please join us there and donate, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm very humbled for that. I will be doing a video of this variety as well for Arch Linux users. And so please keep an eye out for that one. If you have any other suggestions of any videos you'd like me to do, please don't be afraid to comment them, or you can email us at thelinuxtube@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to get on that and create videos as you so ask for. I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. This isn't anything other than that. I love Linux so much, and I just want to be out there teaching people how to use Linux, especially the new to Linux users, because I know that fear coming over from whatever other operating system that you're coming from, whether it is Apple or Mac or Windows. Linux is not something you have to be afraid of. Anyhow, thanks guys. Have a great day and keep Linuxing. Hope you guys enjoy yourselves.